Eddie Van Halen walked into a recording studio in Burbank, wanting to book time to record some demo ideas. He'd called ahead but hadn't given his full name, just Eddie V, because he wanted to know their standard rates without the celebrity markup. The studio engineer, a young guy in his late 20s, looked Eddie up and down. Regular clothes, no entourage, didn't recognize him, and said, "So you want to book studio time? Just so you know, our rates are $150 an hour, and that's for professionals. We're not really set up for hobbyists recording garage band demos. Do you have previous studio experience?" Eddie nodded. "Some experience, yes." The engineer continued, "Because honestly, inexperienced clients waste a lot of time. They don't know how to work with engineers. They don't understand signal flow. They need their hands held through every step. That drives the costs up. Are you sure you want professional studio rates?" Eddie smiled and said, "I think I can handle it. Can I see the live room?" What happened in the next 10 minutes became the most legendary moment in that studio's history. It was a Wednesday afternoon in July 2008, and Eddie Van Halen needed to record some ideas. He'd been working on new material and wanted to capture it properly, not on a home 4-track, but in a real studio with good equipment. He could have booked time at his own studio, but sometimes he liked working in unfamiliar spaces. Different rooms had different sounds, different acoustics, different vibes that inspired different ideas. He'd found Soundcraft Studios online, a mid-level facility in Burbank that had good gear and reasonable rates. When he called to inquire about availability, the person who answered asked for his name. Eddie had said Eddie V, not lying, just not giving full disclosure. He wanted to know their normal rates without them either inflating prices or giving him a celebrity discount. Now he was standing in the studio's front lobby, and the engineer on duty, a guy in his late 20s named Tyler Kent, was looking at him with barely concealed skepticism. Tyler was good at his job. He'd graduated from a recording arts program, worked as an assistant at several larger studios, and had been the lead engineer at Soundcraft for 2 years. He knew signal flow, microphone placement, mixing techniques. He was competent, and he knew it. But he'd also dealt with a lot of amateurs who thought recording would be easy and then struggled, burning through expensive studio time while he babysat them through basic concepts. Tyler saw Eddie, a middle-aged guy in jeans and a t-shirt, no band members with him, no equipment visible, calling himself Eddie V, and made assumptions. "So you want to book studio time?" Tyler asked. "Just so you know up front, our rates are $150 an hour, and that's for professional sessions. We're not really set up for hobbyists recording garage band demos. This is a working studio with professional-grade equipment." "I understand," Eddie said. "Do you have previous studio experience?" Tyler asked. "Have you recorded before? Do you know how to work with an engineer?" "Some experience," Eddie said mildly. "I've been in studios before." Tyler's expression suggested he'd heard that before. "Because honestly, inexperienced clients waste a lot of time. They don't know how to work with engineers. They don't understand signal flow. They need their hands held through every step. We have to stop and explain everything. That drives the costs up significantly. A session that should take 3 hours turns into 8 hours because we're teaching instead of recording." He looked at Eddie more carefully. "No offense, but you're coming in alone. No band, booking under Eddie V, which sounds like you're trying to be mysterious. And you're asking about rates in a way that suggests you're price shopping. That usually means inexperienced client. Are you sure you want professional studio rates? There are cheaper project studios that might be better suited for demos." Eddie tried not to smile. "I think I can handle professional rates. Can I see the live room and the control room? I'd like to see what equipment you have." Tyler shrugged. "Sure, come on." He led Eddie through the facility. The live room was decent, about 20 by 30 feet, well treated acoustically, with a good selection of amps and a quality drum kit set up. The control room had a solid board, Pro Tools rig, good monitors. It was a professional setup, not top tier, but definitely capable. Eddie examined the amps in the live room. "You have a Marshall JCM 800. That's good. What year?" 1983, Tyler said. "Original transformers, recently serviced. You know Marshalls?" "A bit," Eddie said. He looked at the microphone cabinet. "Sure, SM57S, Sennheiser 421S, a few condensers, standard setup. Do you have any Neumann U87S? Tyler raised his eyebrows slightly. Yeah, we have one. You know microphones? I've been around them, Eddie said. He walked to the control room and examined the board. Neve preamps in this one? Nev clones, Tyler corrected. A PI on the other channels. You seem to know gear. Have you recorded professionally? I've spent some time in studios, Eddie said. What's your monitoring chain? Tyler explained their setup. Monitors, power amps, acoustic treatment. Eddie asked technical questions that suggested he knew what he was talking about. Tyler's skepticism was softening slightly. Okay, maybe you're not a complete beginner, Tyler admitted. But there's a difference between knowing gear names and actually being able to work efficiently in a studio. Recording is about more than just equipment knowledge. It's about having your parts ready, knowing what sound you want, being able to play consistently take after take. A lot of guitarists think they're ready to record and then fall apart when the red light comes on. The red light? Eddie asked. The recording light? Red light fever, when people who play fine at home suddenly can't play when they know they're being recorded. It's psychological, happens to amateurs all the time, Eddie nodded thoughtfully. That must be frustrating to work with. It is, Tyler said. That's why I'm being upfront about it. If you're going to freeze up and need 20 takes for every part, this isn't the right studio. Our rates are for clients who can perform. What if I told you I probably won't need 20 takes? Eddie asked. Everyone says that, Tyler replied. Then they get in here and reality hits. Look, I'm not trying to discourage you. I'm just managing expectations. If you want to book time, I need to know you can actually handle a professional session. Can you play the parts you want to record right now without warm-up? Eddie smiled. I could probably play something right now, yes. Tyler gestured to the guitar rack in the live room. Pick a guitar, play me something. Show me you can actually perform under pressure. If you can play cleanly with good time, something that demonstrates actual technique, I'll book you the time. If you can't, I'm going to suggest you practice more and come back later. Eddie walked to the guitar rack and selected a Stratocaster, not a great one, mid-level Fender, but it would work. He plugged into the Marshall, adjusted the settings, and checked the tuning. Any requests? Eddie asked. Play me something that shows you have actual chops, Tyler said, not just basic chords, something technical. Eddie started playing Eruption. Tyler's face went from skeptical to confused to shocked in about 5 seconds. He recognized the song immediately. Every guitarist on earth knew Eruption, but more than that, he recognized that this wasn't someone copying Eruption. This was someone playing it with the casual authority of someone who'd played it 10,000 times, because he had. He'd written it. Eddie played through the main tapping section, the tremolo picking parts, the dive bombs. He wasn't showing off. He was just demonstrating, as requested, that he could handle a professional session. When he finished, Tyler was staring at him with his mouth open. That was Eddie Van Halen's Eruption, Tyler said slowly. It was, Eddie confirmed. You played it. You played it exactly like the record. The timing, the technique, everything. Nobody plays it that accurately. Nobody. Eddie set down the guitar. Tyler, my name is Eddie Van Halen, Eddie V. I was trying to get your standard rates without anyone adjusting prices. I've been in studios a few times. I probably won't have red light fever. I think I can work efficiently with an engineer. Do you want to book me the time? Tyler sat down heavily in the engineer's chair. His face had gone pale. I just told Eddie Van Halen that he needs to practice more before recording. I questioned whether you could handle professional studio rates. I suggested you might freeze up and need 20 takes. I said amateurs need their hands held through everything. You were protecting your studio and your time, Eddie said. That's professional. You had no way of knowing who I was. But I should have recognized you, Tyler said. I'm a recording engineer. Van Halen is legendary. Your guitar tone, your techniques. I should have known. Why would you recognize me? Eddie asked. You've seen pictures of me performing, with stage lights and makeup and production. Right now, I'm a random guy in jeans asking about demo rates. There's no reason you would have recognized me. Tyler was still processing. You played Eruption perfectly, on a random Strat, through our Marshall. First take, no warm-up, like it was the easiest thing in the world. It's a song I know pretty well, Eddie said with a slight smile. You wrote it, Tyler said. You invented the technique. I was explaining to Eddie Van Halen how studios work. I was warning you about red light fever. Eddie walked over and sat down in the other chair in the control room. Can I tell you something, Tyler? You're a good engineer. You asked smart questions about what I wanted to record. You explained your workflow clearly. You set reasonable expectations. That's exactly what you should do with clients. The only mistake you made was assuming that because I didn't look like a rock star, I wasn't one. But that's not your fault. That's just how humans make judgments. What do you actually need to record? Tyler asked. I have some song ideas I want to capture properly. Probably need 3 hours. Guitar parts, some rough vocals, basic structure. Nothing complicated. I can play most of it in 1 or 2 takes. I know what sounds I want. I can work efficiently because, as you correctly guessed, I do have some studio experience. Tyler laughed despite his embarrassment. Some studio experience? You've probably spent more time in recording studios than I've been alive. Probably, Eddie admitted, but that doesn't make your concerns invalid. Red light fever is real. Inefficient sessions do waste money. You are doing your job correctly. They booked the session for the following week. Eddie insisted on paying the standard $150 per hour rate. That's what you quoted. That's what I'm paying. He spent another hour talking with Tyler about recording techniques, shared some insights about getting good guitar tones, and explained some unconventional approaches he had discovered over decades of studio work. After Eddie left, Tyler called his boss. You're not going to believe who just booked studio time. The story spread through Burbank's recording community immediately. The engineer who told Eddie Van Halen he might not be ready for professional studios became an instant legend. Tyler told the story himself, usually with self-deprecating humor. I learned 2 things that day. First, never judge a musician's ability by their appearance or their booking name. Second, Eddie Van Halen has more studio experience in 1 afternoon than I'll gain in my entire career, and he was still humble enough to accept my skepticism without getting offended. The session the following week went exactly as Eddie had predicted. 3 hours, mostly first takes, completely professional. Tyler's respect for Eddie went beyond the legendary performances. He knew what he wanted, communicated clearly, and made my job easy. That's what separates true professionals from people who just play well. Eddie Van Halen was the easiest session I've ever engineered. When Eddie died in 2020, Tyler posted a tribute including the story and photos from that session. In 2008, I told Eddie Van Halen he might not be ready for professional studio rates. I warned him about red light fever. I suggested he might need to practice more. He responded by playing Eruption perfectly on a random guitar, then booking 3 hours where he recorded everything in mostly first takes. He taught me that professionalism isn't about image. It's about preparation, skill, and respect for everyone's time. And he taught me never to judge musicians by how they show up for the booking call. Rest in peace to the master who never stopped being professional. If this story moved you, subscribe and share. Have you ever been underestimated and gotten the chance to prove someone wrong professionally? Share your story in the comments.